Hi everyone, welcome to the next week. In this week we're going to be reading chapter 5 and completing quiz number 2. I'm going to go over chapter 5 real quick, and after I go over chapter 5 then I'm going to go over the quiz and potential questions that you'll see on the quiz to help you do well. It's probably very important to make sure to really focus on what we go over in class and in terms of the quiz, because that'll really help you to do well. So we're looking at chapter 5. We're going to be looking at back to the regression analysis. And this chapter continues with the treatment of linear regression with a single regressor. So one variable we're going to be focusing on. Now when we look at this, in chapter 4 we explain how the OLS estimator and the slope differ from one another next to the sample distribution. In this chapter, we're going to show how knowledge of the sample distribution can be used to make statements about the actual estimator. The starting point is the standard error of the OLS estimator, which measures the spread of the sampling distribution, and what we're going to look at in sections 5.1 through 5.3. We're going to assume that there's 3 least squares assumptions of chapter 4 that hold. If in addition some stronger condition hold, then some stronger results can be derived regarding the distribution of the OLS estimator. One of the stronger conditions is that the errors are homoscedastic, a concept introduced in this chapter in I think section 5.4. In section 5.5, we're going to be looking at the GM theorem, which states under certain conditions the OLS is efficient among a certain class of estimators. Section 5.6, we're going to discuss the distribution of the OLS estimator when the population distribution is normal. So you're going to notice that we're going to be looking at a lot of different estimators and the error. And the key to this is looking at the error and evaluating how the error is being estimated. Now, let me go over the quiz and what you're going to see with the quiz. Let me get it open here for you. And go over some of the directions. As you know, the quiz, you're going to get 1 hour. You're going to get 1 attempt. And when you start the quiz, you have to end it at that point. So, with the quiz, we're going to be looking at what a binary variable is often called. Okay? Question 2 is going to be looking at a small value of the p-value when it's less than 5%. What does that usually indicate with the null and alternative hypotheses? Question 3 is going to be looking at heteroscedasticity and what does it actually mean in terms of the error. Question 4 is going to be asking about the t-test and what is the t-test and what it looks at. Question 5 is going to be looking at the steps to develop these hypotheses tests and which one is not a step when looking at the null hypotheses. Question 6 is going to be looking at the construction of the t-statistic for 1- and 2-sided hypotheses. How is the construction? Does it differ? What do we have to look at with those two types of tests? Question 7 is going to be looking at the homoscedastic normal regression assumption and what are the assumptions looking at? Okay, what are they looking at? Question 8 is going to be looking at the difference between a 1- and 2-sided hypotheses test and the evaluation of how it looks at with the t-statistic. Question 9 is going to be looking at how the t-statistic is calculated. And question 10 is going to be looking at estimating a demand function when the quantity demand is linear. What does that tell us? So those are some of the helpful things that you're going to see on the quiz. Make sure to remember you have 1 attempt. So So take advantage of it when you start the quiz. And I look forward to your work this week.